this sort of what we call a gotcha culture here, where we've got you. We've found a way of sensationalizing a story. It's going to make the headlines. It's going to belittle that person. Forget the fact that we've now written their career off and we've lost a very, very good person. And that's very, very sad indeed. But it fits into the type of people that we are actually encouraging to step forward into the public office. And I constantly ask people in business, even at schools as well, put your hand up if you would be a parliamentarian. And the younger age groups, very excited about potentially participating. And the older you get, the less and less those numbers are. And that means you're actually gifting it to a very small grouping of people who aren't the brightest and the best.
Hi, this is your project management cowboy coming back to you with another podcast, once again on one of our favorite topics, leadership. Now, we've had the wonderful privilege of already doing one podcast where we talked about somebody, Todd Weiler, former Secretary of the U.S. Army. We kind of got to pick his brain about leadership in politics. And after that podcast, I said, we're based in Europe. We need to ask somebody who has political experience in Europe. And I was brainstorming and I thought of somebody that I knew from my past. And we have the wonderful privilege of having, I have to make sure I get his title correct, right? The Right Honorable Tobias Ellwood in the house. Hi, Tobias. It's a privilege that you take time out of your busy schedule. We're gonna the topic of this podcast, the overall topic is leadership, and I've decided it would be great to once again take a politician into the arena because I'm going to make a generalization. Everybody loves to complain about politicians. Everybody's complaining about politicians not being leaders enough. This is not going to be a podcast where we're going to bash politicians unnecessarily. There's not going to be any kind of sensational journalism. It's not about trying to trick you with any sorts of questions, but I think this would be a great opportunity for our listeners. And I'll try to be that proxy for them, is to ask some questions that we've always wanted to hear about politicians and kind of hear it from somebody who's been in the arena, who's thrown his hat into the sphere and can maybe give us some valuable insights. And you're a smart cookie, so I think this will be a great exchange. I'm really looking forward to this. Tobias, you want to kind of say where we know each other from?
Yeah, we go back a long time, actually. We grew up together and were involved in the Scouts, the American Scouts.
Yeah.
I grew up in Vienna. There we are. My goodness, there's an old picture.
How do you like that?
My father worked at the United Nations, so that took me to Vienna. And there I joined the American Boy Scouts and made some lifelong friendships. And it certainly did inspire me when it comes to leadership to think about myself, my role, my contribution, the sense of responsibility of duty I have, and where I could go with that. I was actually not very confident as a boy. And I think certainly the Boy Scouts helped shape me and gain my confidence. I didn't do particularly well at school at that point, made up for it by going to Harvard later as postgraduate. But at school wasn't the brightest boy in the class. I was at the back of the class most of the time. But Scouts really did help shape that. And I think we both share that of where you're with like-minded people. And in a world which is changing fast, you get to learn and interact and get opportunities to lead and in different forms. So very much appreciate perhaps the beginnings, if you like, of engendering that sense of duty that we're on this world together. What do you need to do to become a leader? And I think the Scouts does a great job in that.
Yeah. We'll talk about Scouts maybe a little bit more in just a moment.